Buongiorno a tutti, and today I am very pleased to have here as guest in the ARC talk Nikita Merge.
Hey guys,
And Nikita, I have a very good story with Nikita because we met the first time in Chile. It was one of the programs that I was running with Exosphere, and there is this kind of scene that is still in my mind, Nikita, because it showed me which kind of path you are doing. Because that day was the end of the community building. You were just at the end. You were alone, sitting, in your seat, and then it was just the end of very harsh community building. I came to you and say, we didn't know each other, and then I said, what do you think? And then you said, you were not even seeing me, say, wow, this is something that I want to think through, to be into. From that day, if I see you from that day in Chile, today you are here in Barletta, and you are taking this very good, I could say, I don't want to say spiritual path, but you are going very deep into the inner self. My question to you right now is this: how you made such journey from that day where you came in this program in Chile, you didn't know so much, to start to go into digging yourself? My question to you, was already something that you were already something in your future, or that was a step that allowed you to start to go into yourself?
Yeah, first of all, hey guys, let me get a merge. We had story with Antonio from beginning from Chile until long times. And to answer the question, I would say that it was something inside of me. I would say that every of us have potential, specific role to play, and we have curiosity. I think we have intuition and intention there, but we still, as we grow, we don't really know. But we're driven to do that, right? We're driven to go specifically one way. We have curiosity, but we just cannot name it. We don't really know how to name that stuff. So I guess that was something in me, to be curious, to understand how the world works, the full spectral, and trying to name them, trying to learn about them and put them in the right direction so I can orientate and understand the world. And go deeper. So that was, I would say, something that I had carried with me since childhood, as curiosity and passion. But as I walked my life, for example, as you remember, it was really good moment, really. I remember that moment when you sat down.
I remember this moment.
Sure. I remember. I was stunned, like for this.
I saw that
I was sitting.
You were the only one left there. And they came to you and said, listen. And they said, I saw that you were starting to.
But I was so, sorry to interrupt, but I was so oblivious. I was oblivious until that point, and I can see how. That's a good question. I see how I grow within time, and the further I go, I become curious to understand and name things, to understand what I'm talking. If I say word need or comfort or passion, I know what I'm talking within time. But at that time, only the intention was driving me. Like I was keep on learning and trying to find my way, right? So. But it started to conform at some point. Going into the future, it started to be more supported with my mind. My soul became more supported with mind. My intuition started to be more supported with cognition.
And I mean, this is something very important because I'm following your work, your job in the last, at least in the last couple of years. Basically, you are going all over the world, and you are going to. I see that you are going to dig into yourself. Meanwhile, you are exactly living different experience in different countries, in different parts of the world. And you are using always these two words that to me are very indicative. I would like that you say something more about these two words. You say the word like intention and intuition. And you put a specific emphasis on these two words, intention and intuition. What are the deep meaning of those words for you?
It's funny you ask that because, as you mentioned, like I keep on going, keep developing my understanding. There's big things that I might dive deep into and have new addition to this stuff that you're actually talking. Because this intelligence, right? We chat actually with Antonio at some point. This intelligence and this, I would say, in order, I will describe to you how I see them in a chronological way,
Yes.
from the greatest to the more concrete of us as
Yes.
individuals.
Yes.
So the greatest is and funny, they all have intelligence, intention, and intuition.
Yes.
So
high. And everyone started with high.
it's a cool thing,
Which
yeah.
is,
But also
you know,
intellect for the mind. It's another story. I'm still trying to understand.
Yes, but this is a
yeah,
part. Yes.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Intelligence is, so far, to make it short, it's a connection to the whole, to the,
Yes.
you can name it God, you can name it source, or
Yes.
intelligence, right?
Yes.
So it's everything comes to single. So spiritual part, I would call it, it's like some fragment of the source. We're not going to go deep to this, but it's intent, intention, like something that is not your intention as an individual, but as the everything.
Okay, right.
There's something, the seed is
Yes,
planted into
yes.
you to walk.
I mean,
And
sorry.
intuition is something that you follow your soul in order to match with the intention. So there's an interesting guidance and match that I'm trying also to uncode, but I see this interesting connection to all those three.
Yes. Okay. So this is give us the understanding of what you mean when you say indeed intention, intelligence, which are again something that came from the source. Use also the word the source, because the other thing that I find interesting in your journey is something that I see very interesting in your journey is the specific use of the words.
Yeah.
So I see that you are putting a lot of emphasis in getting the right words for the right meaning, because this is something that is very challenging today, because to me today is my personal, this is why in the art club we are emphasizing the importance of language, because to get to the root of the word, to me is the basic to start even to argue or to chat each other. So I see your very deep attention to the use of words, and this is why I'm asking to you, can you give me, for example, the other word that I see is very important in your journey is encoding.
Yes.
Yes. What do you mean when you want to encode? It seems that you said to me, because we had a lot of chats in the past. We said that it's a kind to exactly link intention, intelligence to intuition.
Yeah.
So there's this encode that take different paths to the right path, basically. Can you tell me more about this?
That's right. Yeah, we had a lot of conversations with Antonio, and it's interesting. That's the thing, actually, in respect to Arc Lab and Praxeology, we found some common stuff there, because encoding, as you say, is actually pretty similar to Praxeology, because it combines the soul and the mind. It combines the thinking and the feeling, right? It combines to understand the actions of everything in an individual, behind, like what is happening behind the actions, what drives the individual to act.
Yes.
So in coding, there are two words actually, fold and code. And coding, to explain it, code is, we can say language, right?
Yes.
But language means some sort of method of communication.
Yes.
So we are we're verbally communicating with you.
Yes.
So for example, other animals and plants, they have their own language, chemical or other way for it. So it's a little bit, I find, confusing. So to go to the root, I call it code. Code is anything that we create as a symbolical means to explain things.
Yes.
And when we build letters with words when we build paragraphs, we can communicate. So code is any way of communicating.
Yes.
But encode, you can, when you encode, you try to understand the world and extract that into the field of vision, and name that stuff.
Yes.
Give the name. That's what we do actually when we relate with the world. We're trying to name things. But encoding is the same actually. We live this life, but to be aware of you living life and encoding, and being aware of equilibrium, I say the rules of nature.
Yes.
That you have to understand the meaning of the word, what you use, go to the origins and understand what it means,
Yes.
and use them in respect to the whole puzzle.
Yes.
So encoding is trying to understand, not really trying, but getting and understanding the world,
Yes.
putting words together, and
Yes.
using them with awareness kind of thing. I'm
Yes.
still trying to
Yes.
learn about
Yes.
that, but I like the word encode as the origin of to relate and mean.
Yes.
So it doesn't
Yes.
have language, it doesn't have any other way of communication,
Yes.
but it goes to the root,
Yes.
which is encoding.
Yes. This is gave me a very, a very deep thought, I would say, because this conversation is very interesting because at least to me shows how in the art lab we are willing to exactly make this different area talk together. As I say, we are talking about science, we are talking about praxeology, we are talking about logic, we are talking about language, we are talking about science, we are talking about spirit, in one whole conversation.
Yeah.
And this is the key of what we are trying to do, to create a place where people like us can go to meet together and talk about, yes, indeed, encoding, or trying to. This is other thing that is always, I think, they always see in your path, I could say, in your journey. The other word, because it's nice because this conversation can be exactly set up using different words that I see used very specifically. For example, attention. You always word attention, which is awareness, right?
Yeah.
And because it seems that you are in this kind of frame when you are between the action that you are doing and what is behind the action, which is this huge, this huge area which we call attention, beyond the action, awareness.
Yeah.
How you go into this? I mean, how you practice this, if I can say?
Attention.
Attention.
Okay.
Or you, I mean, this is something that you just be aware and practice every day. You go into your attention and then you feel yourself getting out and then you just pick you. How do you do this? How do you practice?
No, it's not really easy, right? That's right. There's like a combination of the words observation, attention, and awareness. They kind of close in my perspective.
Yes. So the three words that seems the same.
Similarly, yeah.
But no, for you. So can you explain?
No, yeah, they kind of the same. Like so far as I see awareness, the path to awareness. The first, if I recall correctly in order, first definitely observation.
Yeah.
Then I think was it evaluation?
Yes.
Maybe reflection, and this is some sort of chain of words that I thought about. But awareness is pretty broad, I would say. It's another something more I develop. I see that this, you can even say that this spectrum of awareness, the different kind of way of being aware, right?
This is yes.
Because it's like I don't know how to go deep into that, but if we talk about attention myself, how to practice, in the beginning, as I mentioned, I'm just curious about things. I'm curious to be aware what I am. I like this interesting way of thinking. What is this machine and what is the body, right? Who I am, this identity, Nikita, that right? Is this me? Like, I'm part of you, and you're part of me. Like, we're all connected.
Yes.
It's an interesting thing. It's a God of source.
This is the first drive, I could say.
Yeah, like, I mean, as I mentioned, like, it's intuitively, intuitively, I'm curious to understand what is this all about, where I am, who I am, what I do, and it's not only about me, but what is this? Like, generally being curious about everything, I guess, and trying to understand and put it in the full spectrum. So I guess this is the first thing that guided me to be attentive, right? But other thing, if you consciously, let's say if you want to be attentive, definitely always journaling and meditating are two practices which allows you to be in attention. One, journaling, I always say, is related to mind. It's like meditation for your mind, and meditation that we know as a practice, I would say, is meditation for your soul. So with the journaling, which I do audio journaling daily, which is the main practice, allows you to, like, we express ourselves to begin with. We express ourselves from body, mind, and soul. This is natural code.
Yes.
As you can say, we have to express ourselves. We don't have to suppress any.
Yes.
As you also mentioned, I like Antonio's words also, from discomfort to comfort, which I actually stole from in some way. And I feel like, common ground. So, but yeah, you have to express yourself. So when you express, you go to the comfort, right? Long term sort of. But not to go deep there. So mentally, if you do journaling, audio journaling, you're actually expressing yourself. Not only expressing, but you're also learning many things. And you start to build a pattern for yourself to understand and connect the dots. And this is what brings you pleasure when you go to the novelty, when you bring, actually, you see the answers and you play with that, you feel satisfied.
Yeah.
So you express your mind. Journaling is a great thing. In a meditative way, you actually do other way around. You express your soul, but you don't really name it. You actually piece your mind, you close the words, you close the mind, and you become to the present, to the moment.
Yes.
So, so those two are big deals. And I say, like for body is sleep, you have to sleep 8 hours for sure. This is also an interesting book and many other cool information to learn from. Sleep 8 hours is like related to body, which is like you reconnect to the gut, to source through the sleep by so far things. Journaling is you reconnect through the mind.
Yes.
And meditation you reconnect through the soul. It's interesting daily to have those three. Of course, we sleep all, but have those three and be attentive to that. You express in peace and optimize.
Yes. This is, I mean, I just came back from a biohacking conference in Riga, and you know, I have talked with a lot of biohackers, and in this conference, it was conference, you know, the main, the main theme of the conference was longevity.
Okay.
And two areas were very emphasized, and was very close to what you are saying. One was, yes, how important is sleep. There were several speakers, and each one of them was just saying how deep, how big is the sleeping, and how incredible consequences can come if you don't sleep well. And they give you also a lot of suggestions. There is books written about how sleep is basic for our. We don't take this for not here in the West. Yes, we take pills maybe if you don't sleep. But then you know that there are hours, the time where you need to go to sleep 2 hours before you can do this. Never do this before 3 hours before, then go to sleep, and then yes, it's complex.
It's interesting. Yeah, we can touch a little bit this one also.
Yes,
the sleep, like this. Probably they mentioned the same book by Matthew Walker. It's Why We Sleep. Yeah, this interesting book, the Matthew Walker. Why We Sleep, and because I researched on this stuff, I integrated into my project about optimizing and harmonizing yourself. So there's interesting things, right? There's like natural principles. That's what I like. Natural principles to go to the core is they're the like circadian rhythm, which is related to melatonin and adenosine hormones. And it's interesting how they operate in respect to the cycles and everything. You can actually, and even in this book, there's an interesting graph where you can identify where those hormones start to play in your machinery, in your body, machinery, in your body, and you can identify what is the right time to sleep in respect to the natural principles. So usually it's around 10, 11 before night, and you wake up at 6 or 7. That's the ideal.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting topic, really, about sleep.
The other big deal of the conference was this infinite, I could say, topic, which is diet, food. And this is something that I know you are also very interested, you know, about diet, about the importance of the ingredients, you know, the abundance of food. And I think this is also something that is very important in your project, you know, because you are talking about your project about, you know, finding an harmony between, you know, the inner self, let's say, and the others, and the other self. And how is your also engagement, I could say, with the food, with diet?
It's also interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of research also you can make. It was ongoing changing process, and I don't want to take any position, but so far I find the right ways to ketogenic diet and paleolithic combination. But so far I cannot really go with ketogenic. It's kind of tough. And I'm
the diet, no? Is fasting, basically?
No, fasting is intermittent fasting, combination with ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
I've tried intermittent fasting and ketogenic diet, but it's pretty tough, especially when you're traveling and you have changes in your life. But when the circumstance is right, I go for ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting. I can go deeper and explain that, but right now I'm much more easier. Like I don't stress myself about the diet to eat so strict. I'm easy on that, but of course I don't eat packaged food. I don't eat refined stuff. I don't eat stuff that are not really nourishing that much. I eat real food. Meat is okay for me in anything. I'm aware of that. So I eat correctly, but I know the right way to go if the circumstance is correct. So I'm kind of oriented and I know what is happening in life. So to make it short, I know we do want to have introduction a little bit of ketogenic or intermittent fasting.
Yes.
So intermittent fasting is it's not the fast that we used to think. You eat enough calories. You have to eat enough calories, but the point is when you eat. Intermittent fasting is you reserve specific amount of time, let's say 8 hours, is the window for you to feed yourself to eat. So, but in this 8 hours, you have to eat the same amount of calories as you used to eat. So it's not like really you were actually cutting calories, you're eating enough. It's just the timing. So
Yes.
it is believed also in research that it's super healthy on your system
Yes.
because you give
Yes.
your time to detox.
Immunosystem, right?
Yeah, that's right. And the detoxification in general, like your body takes so much time to deal with everything that is happening in you. Plus, I overlap that with sleep. Usually, everyone overlap with sleep. Like 16, I tried 16 hours, 16-8. 16 hours you don't eat.
Yes.
And I tried
From
starting
12
from
to 8,
morning.
right? From
Yeah, but
12.
it's different. I tried different. For me, it works better to end at 6 o'clock evening.
Yes.
I eat the final one and I'm done. Depending on the individual.
Yes. Yes.
So you like overlap with the sleep, and sleep itself is also a detoxification process, especially for your mind.
Yes.
I mentioned also in the book is interesting. So it's interesting. Like it generally, it's like you allow your body to detox and recover correctly.
And this is this conversation with Nikita is very interesting for me because again, as I said before, in the art club, this is the dynamic which we are willing to go into, where we can experiment, these things that are not mainstream. So you go outside and talk about diet, fasting, and so they say, well, what the fuck are you doing? Are you killing yourself?
Yeah.
Or you do this kind of strange sleeping things, or you do this kind of exercise or meditation, awareness. I mean, this is something that we have called in our program, we have called this metaphysical part.
Yeah, that's true.
And then again, we want also to go into real life, which is doing project, doing labs, so working with real problems, but with say this wider consciousness, which is for us to be being aware about not only what is going outside, which is for us what we call praxeology, understanding the dynamic of economics, but also what is going on inside. And I mean, the more I go into it, and the more I see this wonderful, right, but big area. I mean, it's like open the door and then you start to see that, wow, I need to go into so many things, I need to practice so many things, I need to experience so many things, that how I can do all the stupid things that I do daily. I mean, so this is one of the questions that we have to put to ourselves. I mean,